Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to be interviewing Ivan Padial, who recently retired from teaching 20 years in the Lexington City School system. The first question for Ivan Padial will be, is maintaining your culture, heritage important to you? Why and why not?
I think maintaining my Hispanic culture is very important to me because it brings my origins. It's one of the values that we must maintain in this country. We're here as guests, and so we adopt many of the American culture, but we must never forget who we are and where we came from. So it is very important for all of us all Hispanics, to maintain their culture.
Has maintaining your culture, heritage become easier or difficult?
I think it becomes harder and harder as the years go by because we become more assimilated into the American culture, and our children become assimilated easily into the American culture. So I would think that for me, I think it's harder as the years go by to maintain your culture because your children want to assimilate into the American culture.
Have you found any obstacles in trying to maintain your Hispanic culture heritage in your local community? For example, food items, ceremonial activities, language barriers?
I don't think that here in Davidson County and specifically here in Lexington that has been a problem. We have a lot of Hispanic grocery stores, and for those that are Asian, there's a lot of Cambodian stores as well. So I don't think that that stores purchasing food items or traditional things, finding traditional things from our country is hard in Lexington.
How have you maintained your Hispanic culture heritage?
Well, one of the most important things for my wife and I is to pass our culture to our children and our grandchildren. And what we have noticed is that the second generation, my children that were born, some of them were born in outside the United States and others were born here in the United States, they want to assimilate into the American culture, and consequently it gets harder and harder to maintain your cultural values. And we try and in my case I have always insisted that we have at least one meal. We have to have one meal as a family, and we speak Spanish. In many cases, second and third generation, my children and my grandchildren, we will speak to them in Spanish, and they will reply to us in English, and we correct them and tell them we don't. For this period of time, we don't understand English, so you must speak Spanish. So that's one of the ways that we want to keep our traditions alive. We also tell them stories about our countries. My wife came from El Salvador, and so consequently she tells them stories about El Salvador, and we have books and literature from each one of our countries, and consequently that's how we try and impress on our children that yes, it is great, yes, we are Americans, but first we're Hispanic.
Have you seen Davidson County traditions change since you moved here? In what ways?
Well, I think that we're lucky in the sense that Lexington is a very diverse community. I don't know of any other county in the general vicinity that has multicultural festivals, and we've been having multicultural festivals now for over 20 years, and that has given us an opportunity to educate other people, the American people, on our traditions and our values. Our food, they come for our food, but they take away not only food, but they also get to see some of our other traditions, like folk dancing, Mexican folk dancing, or I've seen the Native Americans also here in the area put shows in the that highlights the Native American culture. So I think that living in Lexington and in Davidson County has benefited me and my family and helped us to maintain our cultural focus on the Hispanic culture.
How has the Hispanic population changed since you came into this community?
When I started teaching at Lexington Senior High School, there were approximately maybe 3-4 families that were Hispanic origins. Now the Lexington City School population is approximately 37 to 38% Hispanic. So it has grown in the last 20 years. It has grown from, at least in the high school, which is what I deal with, it has grown from 3-4 families to 37% of the school population being. Also, when I interviewed, the principal told me that the demographics were 12%, was 48% white, 48% Afro-American, and 2% other, and that included Hispanics and Cambodians. So you can see the flux has changed. Now 37% is Hispanic, which means that the Caucasian population, the white and the African American populations have decreased.
Do you believe our immigration system is broke? And how can we fix it if it is?
I think it is broke, and yes, we can fix it. The Hispanics are the fastest growing minority, and having taught 20-some years in Lexington, I have seen how our Hispanic population has grown, and many of the kids that I taught when I first started here are already of voting age. So what can we do? Yes, it is broke. We need somebody to make some kind of an immigration reform so that those that are 17 million undocumented Hispanic and other nationalities that are living here in the state can have legal status. And we can do that by vote.
Thank you, Ivan Padial, and this marks the end of our interview.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure helping you out.
Me too.